Christian leaving Red Bull wasn't just sudden, it was planned at the perfect time. Bernie Ecclestone talked to her just one day before she got fired, and Christian had no clue what was about to happen. But when you look at what happened step by step, the timing shows something way more planned than just a simple reaction to old problems. Because this story isn't really about bad behavior claims from 18 months ago, the proof suggests it's about a power fight that's been growing for years. And Max Verstappen's future was way more important than anyone first thought. What I'm about to show you connects three things that seemed separate into one big plan. Let me start with the most important detail. According to Formula News today, Red Bull didn't just fire her, they kicked her out right away, meaning they didn't want her around for even one race in 2025. Bernie Ecclestone thought this was really mean, saying, "It's like she killed somebody." But here's what makes this timing important. On May 20th, Guilherme Uveda gave away his 2% Red Bull shares to a trust company in Geneva. This might sound small, but according to reports, this one move broke up the time majority that had protected her for many years. The pattern gets clearer when you think about who left. Adrian Newey left Red Bull in May 2024. Marv Marshall had already moved to McLaren in 2023. Jonathan Wheatley recently left for Sauber. According to Formula News today, these weren't random decisions, they were part of what sources call a weird relationship between key people and her after the scandal. But the most telling part comes when you look at what happened next. Sky Sports' Craig Slater said that the Thai support finally went away and that the Austrian side of the company had been wanting to make a change. The timing suggests this wasn't just a reaction, it was planned. The obvious explanation is that Red Bull finally acted on the harassment claims from 18 months ago. Bernie Ecclestone, who's a close friend of hers, was honest about this, calling Christian an idiot for the situation. According to reports, Bernie said she was a 50-year-old who thought she was 20, and thought she was one of the guys. The investigation cleared her twice. But according to Formula News today, the leaked WhatsApp messages embarrassed the team and hurt her reputation. This seems to explain everything. Bad behavior, internal investigation, delayed consequences, but the facts tell a different story. According to the timeline and the reports, the harassment claims came up 18 months ago. The investigation was finished, she was cleared. Yet the firing happened now in July 2025, right after the shareholding structure changed. This becomes clear when you look at the real trigger. According to Formula News, there are people who believed she was running the team like it was the Christian show, acting like she could do anything because of her past wins. The phrase acting like she could do anything suggests the issue wasn't the claims themselves, but her response to them and how untouchable she seemed. The real question is why now? The proof points to something more planned. The most important finding comes from looking at the Verstappen family's role. According to Formula News, the Verstappen family and Helmut Marko had been constantly asking the Austrian side to get rid of her in any way possible. Jos Verstappen's position was documented clearly. According to reports, he said loud and clear that if she stays in her position, the team will fall apart as we know it. The pattern Jos described, senior people leaving, results getting worse. Internal problems turned out to be right. But here's where the timing becomes crucial. According to Red News 365, Nelson Piquet Jr., Max Verstappen's brother-in-law, said on the Papo di Piloto podcast that Max will make a decision in August. When asked what he thinks Max will do, Piquet Jr. said he will change. The contract details are revealing. According to Red News 365, Max has performance-related exit clauses that could be triggered if he's outside the top 4 in the Drivers' Championship at the summer break in August. Right now, Max sits third in the championship, meaning the clause is still active. What makes this timing important? Red Bull fired her in July, just weeks before Max's potential decision point. According to Formula News today, one theory suggests Verstappen's camp used their power to push for her removal, suggesting that Max might be more likely to stay at Red Bull only if there was a change at the top. The proof suggests this wasn't a coincidence. According to reports, Helmut Marko and Max's manager, Raymond Vermeulen, have all refused to deny that an exit could happen. They won't even deny the possibility. The money implications reveal Red Bull's priorities. According to Formula News today, Red Bull paid her more than $50 million because she had 5 years left on her contract. The reports note this proves the company was ready to get rid of her no matter the cost, but the strategic cost could be higher. According to Red News 365, if Max joins Mercedes, the expected pairing would be Verstappen, alongside Kimi Antonelli, replacing George Russell. Mercedes has invested heavily in Antonelli's development, making this their dream scenario. The performance context is telling. Red Bull currently sits fourth in the Constructors' Championship, trailing McLaren by 288 points. According to Formula News today, this is very different from their winning days. Liam Lawson, recently promoted from Racing Bulls, now faces the challenge of rebuilding. The 2026 engine rules add another layer of difficulty. According to Formula News today, Red Bull's newly formed Red Bull Powertrains division is building its first in-house power unit, but rumors swirl that Mercedes may be leading the pack in development. If Red Bull's engine project struggles, the could face years of competitive disadvantage. Meanwhile, her next move could reshape the grid. According to Formula News today, Alpine is the most likely destination, with reports suggesting Flavio Briatore and her are very close friends dating back to the mid-2000s. Alpine needs knowledge, stability, and someone who has a proven record of winning. The irony is that Ferrari was also mentioned as a potential destination, but according to Formula News today, reports from Italy state that because of all the controversies behind closed doors, the interest in her is close to zero. Sky Sports' Ted Kravitz summarized the power shift. The Austrian side of Red Bull, backed by Jos Verstappen, won the internal power struggle and convinced her backers that her continuation was impossible. The proof reveals a coordinated strategy, but several questions remain unanswered. First, the timing of Chalmers-Muvedia's share transfer in May and her firing in July. Was this coordination or coincidence? The reports don't establish direct causation, but the sequence suggests planning. Second, Max Verstappen's August decision becomes crucial. According to Red News 365, he needs to maintain his position in the top 4 to avoid triggering his exit clause. Currently, third, he's barely ahead of George Russell. Will Red Bull's leadership change influence his decision? Third, the broader implications for Red Bull's future. According to Formula News today, without Max Verstappen, I don't even think Red Bull would have had what it takes to fight in the midfield. Can Liam Lawson reverse the team's declining performance while managing a potential driver exodus? Fourth, Christian's comeback. According to Bernie Ecclestone, whether her firing will prove to be a wise move or a costly mistake remains to be seen. The Alpine opportunity represents a chance to prove Red Bull wrong, but the timeline means any new role wouldn't start until 2026. The summer break is approaching, and according to the contractual details, August will determine whether this story ends with Max staying at Red Bull or becomes the catalyst for one of the most dramatic driver moves in recent F1 history. What the proof suggests is that this wasn't just about Christian's past actions, it was about Red Bull's future strategy. The question now is whether removing her was enough to secure Max Verstappen's commitment, or if they've simply delayed an inevitable departure. The next few weeks will reveal whether Red Bull's calculated gamble pays off, or whether they've just handed Mercedes their next championship driver. What do you think the proof suggests? Let me know in the comments below. And subscribe because this story is far from over. The real test comes in August. Christian leaving Red Bull wasn't just sudden, it was planned at the perfect time. Bernie Ecclestone talked to her just one day before she got fired, and Christian had no clue what was about to happen. But when you look at what happened step by step, the timing shows something way more planned than just a simple reaction to old problems. Because this story isn't really about bad behavior, claims from 18 months ago, the proof suggests it's about a power fight that's been growing for years. And Max Verstappen's future was way more important than anyone first thought. What I'm about to show you connects 3 things that seemed separate into one big plan. Let me start with the most important detail. According to Formula News today, Red Bull didn't just fire her, they kicked her out right away, meaning they didn't want her around for even one race in 2025. Bernie Ecclestone thought this was really mean, saying, "It's like she killed somebody." But here's what makes this timing important. On May 20th, Chalmers-Muvedi gave away his 2% Red Bull shares to a trust company in Geneva. This might sound small, but according to reports, this one move broke up the time majority that had protected her for many years. The pattern gets clearer when you think about who left. Adrian Newey left Red Bull in May 2024. Rob Marshall had